So the game finally did it. He finally called out Kendrick directly, right? Pretty much. And I gotta say, it's still a bunch of BS, man. It's still a bunch of BS. Look, in this video, we're gonna be reacting to Charles Brown talking about this. He made a video on this. I will say this real quick. There's a bunch of course, all the Drake stands is going crazy. Look, man, if Kendrick want to respond, he can. He does not have to respond to everyone that says his name. I think it's a false equivalency to compare what was going on with Kendrick and Drake to Kendrick and anybody else. I just do. Now, is Kendrick immune from having to respond, or he doesn't have any responsibility to uphold a crown he says is heavy? No, not at all. I wouldn't say that either. But the game's a special type of clout chaser, man. I feel like, you can make an exception there because he's just clout chaser. He has a history of doing this. That's all he's doing. He's trying to get some buzz going. So, but let's go ahead and listen to this video of Charles Brown.
Gang, listen. So I knew Game would finally crack because he didn't get the traction he wanted. He baited you guys, and a lot of you guys made a lot of excuses. Even guys on the West Coast were coming out claiming that Game couldn't have been talking spicy about K-Dot because he said that the K-Dot before he dropped it. Well, I told you in my last video when I said, please don't respond to the Game. I said Game would do something like that to try to make it like he's not talking about him, and they would actually ignore it and not care one way or the other if Game was talking about them or not. You got to think they probably been dealing with Game so long they know how Game is. They know Game got these bipolar tendencies, right? And they know that Game will eventually, somehow, some way, turn on the people he has his hand out for, especially if he did something for him. He's going to remind them over and over. He's telling a lot of tall tales about how he wanted to sign Kendrick and Top wouldn't let him, this, that, and the third, only to go be reminded that Kendrick had already made a record saying that Game didn't like his first music when he first had it. They went on tour with Game and then came back and Game wouldn't even rock it with him, wouldn't taking the calls no more, something like that to that degree. And Kendrick was like, what happened with that? And the homeboy finally told him that Game didn't like the music. So now here we are in 2026. It was really 2025 when he told somebody on some podcast that he wanted to sign Kendrick. And Kendrick was like, yeah, they said Game didn't like it, right? So here we are once again. We knew that this was coming. Game got a mixed CD coming out. Every movie needs a trailer. And I'm disappointed in a lot of you guys because I distinctly remember being chastised for spreading gossip. A lot of people in my comments here and on Twitter and elsewhere, wherever else I put it, were basically saying I was a warmonger. I was trying to spread gossip to get two dudes that had no problem to beef. I was accused of a lot of shit. And I saw other YouTubers saying that it couldn't be true because the way that Game said it was just an open-ended comment. It had nothing to do with Kendrick, and we're reaching. Well, I said I saw quite a few of my constituents that
I will say he did say that. I think in my video on that, I think I wasn't sure. I don't know. I think I may have said I ain't know. I wasn't sure. It didn't sound like it. I might have gave Game the benefit of doubt. My bad if I said that. I was wrong. Charles Brown did say that from the get-go, and he was right, of course. One of the things I do remember is that somebody said something. I don't know if it was Whack 100 or Glasses. May have been Whack. I don't know. But one of them was talking about you really don't want there to be a rap battle between Game and Kendrick because of, I guess, the gang politics that might be involved and some of the, you might say, overflow that might come from that. And I think I made a video on that as well, or I at least spoke on it, saying I'm not too sure because I feel like those two could keep it friendly enough, but I don't know. You never know, man, when it comes to that type of stuff. You got camps on both sides. Who knows? And honestly, Game is just a troublemaker. So who knows what he might try to do, where he might try to go. I think in part it's all sport, the game, but it's all motivated by jealousy too. This is what Game does. It ain't the first time. I mean, he gave Eminem praise, came out and dissed Eminem. So do you even take a guy like that serious? Like, do you let him just keep doing this and tell you you need to respond to prove that you're better than him when he just has a track record of this. And at this point, who cares? It's just a lot of noise.
I really respect. And I was like, well, if that's how you see it, you're wrong. End of the day, I'm proving right because I made videos, this, that, and the third, saying I'm not going to play with you guys. I'm not going to waste a lot of you guys' time that's watching. Game is clearly dissing Kendrick 100%. There ain't no way around it. I don't know why these guys are sitting there tiptoeing around it. I don't understand you too sometimes, gang. I'm just going to be honest, man. I know it's a place where you gotta worry about your political connects. You don't want to offend dudes because you might see them in the streets, this, that, and the third. I understand that. You don't want to ruin potential collaborations or affiliations or sponsorships and this, that, and the third. But the most important thing you got to remember here is you got to be honest and you got to be real.
Yeah,
and people going to respect that more than you placate and trying to bounce around and make things look lighter or tighter than they really are. If you don't know, say you don't know. But don't try to spin something that looks one way and you try to say, nah, it can't be that. I don't believe it's that. It looked directly like he was talking about K-Dot on the first, when he first said the thing about best rapper in Compton. Then he goes on Shannon Sharpe and says,
I'm guilty, man. I'm guilty, Charles. You got me, fam. Now, I didn't say nothing about nobody else what they were saying, but I'm guilty, man. I think I might have tried to spin it. My mind is a little foggy, you know what I'm saying? But I might have been one of those like, nah, I ain't sure. But you might have me red-handed, fam.
The best rapper in Compton. Shannon Sharpe is not equipped to handle that conversation. Shannon Sharpe starts saying, yo, oh shit, you mean you're better than Ice Cube? You're better than the Snoop? Like, Shannon Sharpe was not the guy to handle that conversation. Right? He has no hip-hop knowledge beyond 1994, some shit like that. So he can't handle the conversation. Only rappers he know are the sensationalized rappers that go on his daggone podcast and say some goony goo shit. Because they want action and activity. They want engagement. So that's the only rappers that he knows, the messy ones. So he's not the one that had a conversation. So I went and told you guys from day one when I first heard the line about the best rapper in LA, whatever he said back then, a couple months ago. The best rapper, the nigga you think the best rapper ain't gonna do shit about it, right? The best rapper in LA, ain't no doubt about it. Some shit, whatever he said. So he came back from round two. When that didn't get the traction he wanted, a lot of these dudes do breadcrumbs, and they want you to like some Hansel and Gretel shit. They want you to follow the breadcrumbs right into that witch's house, right into the goddamn oven, and then you're trapped in it. But you guys didn't follow the breadcrumbs. You said, oh, breadcrumbs. You said, oh, squirrel. And you ran over there. So you didn't get the daggone traction he wanted with the first, when he dropped the first one. So now you got another one. Every movie needs a trailer. With DJ Drama, they're going at it again, right? Gangsta Grills, they at it again. I guess is either a deluxe version of the Gangsta Grills mixtape or a new version of the Gangsta Grills mixtape. Either way, the game needs traction because he got something to promote, right? End of the day, he's not gonna let this go. This time, he said K-Dot's name, which I had no doubt was eventually going to happen because this is the game we're dealing with. Game gets on this mission. He until it gets cracking. And I don't know who ever really responded to Game. You got people now talking about, well, of course, the Drake fans coming out of nowhere. Now he got to respond. You got people saying you got to respond. This, that, and the third. I don't know anybody who has responded to the game really in the real, has really. Rick Ross didn't respond. Eminem didn't respond. K-Dot not going to respond. I don't know nobody takes Game serious because when your reputation is trolling and you say one thing, do another, then say another thing, come back and double. A lot of people stop taking you serious.
Yeah, no, that's the main thing. Its credibility is shot at this point because it is like you just clout chasing. You have a history of this. I mean, and it's all over X at this point. Look, check this out real quick. Yeah, so look, this one says the game name drops Kendrick Lamar on the intro of his new mixtape with DJ Drama. All right, there's that. But look at these comments. Friendly reminder, if Kendrick calls someone out to rap, it's competition. When anyone else calls them out to rap, they're clout chasing. Well, the game is clout chasing. Like, come on, bro. You got to be honest about what's going on here. And again, this is not the same as Kendrick and Drake. Forget J. Cole for the moment. It's not the same as the other two. The best diss that Kendrick could do to the game is what he's been doing, ignoring the hell out or ignoring the fuck out of him. Game can really rap, but the way he seeks attention by just dissing anybody with a name or moment in the sun is so, and that's exactly what he does. That's exactly what he does. He chases the headlines, and only when he has a project. It's not serious. This guy, if Kendrick has the crown, he got to take on challengers. Only battling when you have the most to gain is the definition of pussy. And that, you know, this narrative is crazy too, because remember, Kendrick just addressed this whole Big Three thing. He really got dissed first. He got dissed by J. Cole. He got dissed by Drake. Like, they came out his neck. All he said was, fuck the Big Three, it's just Big Me. And he said, about the all dogs carrying nine, whatever that verse was, right? But he never went at nobody's character or personality or anything like that. He went at this concept of a Big Three thing. Boom. Fine. Take it how you want to take it. Then they came with the character assassination and everything after that. So really, he was responding to that, if you really want to look at it. But this whole, he got to take on all challengers thing, no, man, not every challenger is worthy to be in the ring with the king. All right? There has to be some value to this, man. There has to be some value. You start devaluing yourself if you just step in the ring with anybody. So no, he don't got to take on all challengers. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
So no one wants to see this battle except for Game.
Right.
And a few guys probably, I don't know, in Alaska somewhere. Other than that, and I like the Game. I say the Game can rap all the time. Game's one of the best rappers in history. Now, am I putting him in my top 10? No. But at the end of the day, Game is a hell of a rapper. He just, the antics always mess him up. The last album that he did, I told you, that album was fire. I did a review on my other, maybe that album was before, the last one that I remember reviewing. The one with the Eminem diss on it, right? That album was fire. I did an album review on my CLBMG review channel. And I said, take off the Eminem diss, the 10-minute unnecessary attention horror type of diss about Eminem. Take that off because it's really, really bad, gang. One of the worst diss records we've ever heard. Worse than diss records that are really awful is worse. Because it's unnecessary. Eminem has never said anything to Game.
Right.
Hey, Game has always praised Eminem, and out of nowhere, when he need that money and need them eyes, he goes and does a 10-minute Eminem diss, mimicking Eminem's voice. It's just not a good look. So it ruined the whole album for me, right? But everything else in the album. So Game is a prolific writer. He can make good music. But these antics get him in trouble. So it's like, gang, I don't know why he does this. But on this new one, right, he got a song called Whatever, opens up the album, I believe, with this song called Whatever. Right.
You want to know something I just thought about too. So if this is all about competition and the number one, how come? Okay, if Game claimed he never had a problem with Kendrick, which we don't think that's true, but if he claimed that and if he wasn't jealous or anything like that, right? So now all of a sudden he wants to call Kendrick out just because everybody's saying he's the best, he's the king of the West. Mind you, Game was on stage when the crown, the quote unquote crown, was passed. But if this was all about competition, why he never make this offer out to Drake? I ain't trying to hear that he's his friend stuff. He said the same thing. He said him and Kendrick was cool. If this is all about competition, friend or no friend, if you the number one, why was the challenge never issued to Drake? This is another thing that takes away credibility from these guys, because remember, for so long they were saying he was number one. He was the best rapper. This, that, and the other. Why none of these dudes never issue that challenge? It just makes it, just when you see it, it's really disgusting for real. The hate runs deep. Kendrick ain't said nothing to none of these dudes. And again, I'm not saying Kendrick can't hold his own or shouldn't even say something to them, throw a bar, but all this, he got to go on these, make some diss tracks and do all that and the other. These dudes ain't serious, man. These dudes ain't serious. And they want to have it both ways. They want to not go at their friend when he so-called got the number one spot, but then their true colors come out when one of their own actually got the number one spot. It's hypocrisy at its finest.
And he goes, if I ain't the best rapper from Compton, it gotta be Kendrick. Says his name, right? Says his name. I said it before and I say it again, Kendrick does not have to respond to this. And they're trying to make it, now they want to do a Joey Badass thing on Drake. Of course, Drake fans, yo, you got to respond. Because they brain dead, gang. These motherfuckers on life support. Right? Their brains need to be studied like against Neanderthal brains. It's like they don't think this shit through. You ran with the Joey Badass thing, but you didn't even go support the motherfucker. right?
Right.
The nigga
Right.
album didn't do shit. The nigga had to cancel his tour, but you ran out there. K-Dot gotta respond. You on the clock, K? Because they do what they're told. I told you they got these Zoom calls in the morning. The Zoom calls are they're about an hour and a half. They do all the narratives in the morning, and then they push them out to the brain dead fans, the goddamn Walking Dead zombies. So then the Walking Dead zombies, oh, what we got to say today? Oh shit. Oh, K-Dot gotta respond. Dot, you got 24 hours to respond to who it is again. Oh, Joey Badass. You got. So it's like these motherfuckers is brain dead. So now they hollering. Now you got to respond to the game. We don't listen. I told a nigga today, motherfucker, Club Paradise. I said when nigga from Club Paradise speak, we can't listen.
Facts. Club Paradise, that account that I just read from Dom, who had one of the comments on that post, DOM, the one that said if Kendrick has the crown, he got to take on the challengers. A lot of these accounts, it's only going to be one way. And like Marlo said,
you want it to be one way, but it's the other way.
I don't know if you people don't know that's not on Twitter. Club Paradise is a room that all Drake fans reside in. Okay?
Ain't no
Let
doubt.
me leave it at that. So when this song called Whatever, he goes, if I ain't the best rapper from Compton, it got to be Kendrick. And if Kendrick the best rapper, tell him step up and end it, right? Then he goes on to say, I'm in the stands clapping hands for the man I defended. Can't go to war against a nigga I done gave my appendix, right? So he's still saying, he's still trying to walk both sides of the fence. Now, this is like, let's just be honest, it's not even a diss. It is a diss. So
it is a diss.
We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. It is a diss, but it's a like diss because you're saying step up and end it, but it's a diss. In this hyperbolic world we in right now, little lines like that turn into whole wars, right? Didn't Kendrick just say, ain't no big three, is big me? Right? This is how we got the so-called war, 7-minute drill, push-ups, family matters. We got it from a couple bars, right? Kendrick said, ain't no big three, it's just big me. Then he said, it's time for him to prove that he's a problem, right? Then he said, two dudes hugging and kissing on stage. That's all he really said in the goddamn record, right? Like that ain't but goddamn told. It's another nigga. Future's on, it's a whole different, it ain't that long, so it ain't that many lines on the whole record at all. So we could get a bar that could start a whole war. Now, this right here, Kendrick too smart for this, but he does say, tell him step up and end it. To me, he's still trying to tiptoe because he's not really outright calling Kendrick, but he's like, if you guys are saying that he's the best, to tell him to tell me to stop saying that I'm the best. Tell him to step up with a verse. Tell him to jump in this field, and then we see it from there. Because what he says right here, and this shows the state of hip hop. This line right after that, where he says, "Go to war against the nigga I done gave my appendix." He's still saying, "I helped Dot. I did everything for him. He wouldn't be who he is without me." Right? But that's not the issue. The issue is the line after that. He says, "I don't write raps for niggas on podcast couches, throwing stones, sitting alone in their glass houses." This is what it all stems from, gang. The people talking on Twitter, the podcasts, and the YouTubers like myself who say this, that, and the third, that Dot is the greatest, whatever, this, the insert fucking compliment, insert whatever declaration we've been doing over the past couple years. Game sick of hearing it.
Yeah, yes.
And every time Game says anything, we say, yeah, but Kendrick's still out there, the boogeyman, da-da-da. It's a lot of rappers that's getting tired of this Kendrick praise.
Yeah,
you gotta understand what's going on.
For sure.
There's a lot of these guys, when you see these guys take these little light jabs or they try to say little slick with Drake, da-da-da, when they try to side with Drake on the low, those are guys that's sick of Kendrick being praised so much.
Hey, and it's crazy though. He absolutely right. 100% facts spoken right here, man. And it is crazy to think about because what are we talking about? I could see if we was talking about a guy who was kind of a crappy person, had a bad reputation. Like, look, again, Kendrick ain't perfect at all by any sort of stretch of imagination. But, by all accounts, he's a solid dude. And to see so much hate come out about that and to see people so resistant. I mean, at the highest levels, just so resistant to get a man his flowers for real without a yeah, but. I ain't gonna lie, man. It's some of the most sickening stuff I've seen in this industry as far as hip hop goes, and these so-called pro-black people and support black this. And again, it just comes back to like it's a bunch of bullshit. It's a sham for real.
Right? Or got this affinity for Drake or both. Right? Game feels loyal to Drake because Drake did a record for him. I think he did a feature and didn't charge him. right? I think they kind of strong on him, but they didn't charge him. And then Game would never forget that Drake showed up. I believe it was in LA and did the video. He was there on the set, even though he was scary. He did it. So Game is one of these guys that will never forget that. So he has an affinity and a loyalty to Drake. So he's never going to turn on Drake at the risk of his own brand and his own name being muddied and sullied in LA. He didn't get invited to the pop out. We all saw that. So Game is a loyal guy, and I gotta commend him for that. Even at the wrong time, the whole LA's right behind Kendrick. But you're like, man, I can't do it. I love K Dot. You do kind of a little jealousy with K Dot. We all see that. But really, at the end of the day, he's just super loyal to Drake for coming in and holding him down. He might have got a big bag from that. That might be one of his biggest records. So he had to choose, and he chose Drake. But part of that is a little bit of sickness, and he's kind of tired of hearing all this K Dot shit. Just gonna be honest.
Yeah. So if he did that though, and if he's all about competition, no matter what, why would you give him any time of day if you Kendrick? Because you ain't serious, nigga. If you were serious about proving yourself to be the best, go. And I ain't trying to hear that Drake's my homie shit. If this is competition, it's competition, right? On the field, ain't no friends. We here to show who the best. So you acknowledging implicitly or explicitly, however, that Kendrick has always been better, but you also showing again that you've been jealous too.
So at the end of the day, this thing is about all the people like myself who give K-Dot all this praise and all this, yo, K-Dot got Grammys, yo, Euphoria, he beat Drake handily, it's over. So a lot of that stuff, these rappers are watching these podcasts way too much. They watching Joe Budden, this, that, and the third. It used to be, the podcasts are different than the blogs, gang. The blogs used to find talent and uplift it. Right? The podcast, we talking about the niggas shit, the shit niggas doing that's trash, and we bringing shit down like, no, like nigga, hell no. Like we calling niggas out, right? So it's more dudes with a voice that never had a voice before. And maybe shouldn't need one. But at the end of the day, we got a lot of people that can make a YouTube channel, take their phone, upload some shit, and just talk this shit. So it's a lot more voices right now, and these rappers are listening to the voices. They listening to it too much, and they're letting the voices make their decisions. Right. That's why J. Cole jumped out there, did what he did, then retracted it. Now he out here again talking big bone and brolic, listening to these voices. The very first song on J. Cole's album, he's talking about.
You know, this is a really good point. And I want you to think about what it takes to be a man, to be strong enough and confident enough, right? Think about this. To not respond because of the voices, but only respond when a response is warranted, right? So you could say Drake and Cole both responded because of the voices, the oohs and the ahs and what they going to do. Cole admitted it. Drake didn't admit it outright, but we know that that's why he responded too. Savage pretty much said that, right? 21. But Cole admitted that's why he responded. Peer pressure. These niggas is still giving in the peer pressure, right? And so Kendrick, he's not moving like that. And I think it really, really gets up under their skin and pisses them off. He's not moving based off what the blogs say, what the comments say, what the podcasts say, what people think. Oh, Kendrick got to do this. And Kendrick, and they hate that because they can't control him in that way. You know what I mean? But all these other guys are really controlled by the attention. And it's a weakness. I think it's a weakness. So it's a huge weakness. It's a glaring weakness. So, and in that way, it makes Kendrick much stronger. And I'm not saying he won't throw some shots at them, maybe on a coming album or this, that, and the other. But I think it shows a different level of discipline and strength to not respond based on the noise from the public. Right? That makes sense?
Voices, podcasters, YouTubers, right? He's dissing us. He's mad at us because we dick riders and haters spreading gossip. Well, you listening to it. But they know that this is who runs this thing and who says what that I. So he said, I don't write rhymes for niggas on podcast couches, whoever that may be. They feeling away and starting to kick in and it hurts. So now he want to prove something and this K-Dot. This is where we are in the world, gang. These rappers care about what is said on YouTube. It really bothers them.
Yeah, they do.
They want you to give their album 5 mics and all this shit. They want to go watch Melon over there. They want fucking Fantano. They want to go watch him and get a 9 out of 10 on his. Right. So they really care what we say on these channels. And it makes them lash out. And this is what Game is doing. He's lashing out. No one needs to pay this any mind, nothing to see here. But we do got to acknowledge it. I got to chronicle it because Game did call out Kendrick. He 100% called out Kendrick. And I went on my last video, right? Homeboy just wrote this a couple weeks ago. I just saw it today because I went and watched I went to that video to see something, and I saw the comment, and it said, "What's up with you new school soft ass niggas that's always telling rappers not to battle? Oh, Kendrick, don't battle Game, ignore him. Oh, Eminem, don't pay no attention to that. It's you new school niggas." First of all, I'm not new school gang. Let's start there. I know you see the grays in my beard, but he felt the way. He's like, yo, you guys are a new generation. You're soft. You always telling somebody not to battle. Well, guess what, gang? I'm going to tell niggas to not battle when it don't make no sense.
Right.
You see J. Cole? Go back in my videos. I said, J. Cole, don't do it. Leave it alone. It didn't make no sense. Now, 2 years later, J. Cole name is Mud. That nigga's Elmer Fudd right now. Right? So, end of the day.
Dang, not Elmer Fudd, man. Hey, look, there's wisdom, man, in knowing which battles to take, man, and which battles not to take. That's why they say pick your battles. And again, my contention is that the Drake Kendrick battle and the whole J. Cole situation is really Kendrick battling them niggas, responding to them, because they the first ones that came with the character assassination only based on him rejecting this concept of a big three. They the ones that went personal with it. You gotta respond to that shit, don't you? Like, come on, man.
I'm right when I tell niggas not to battle. I don't say it because I'm soft or scary. I say it because it needs to make sense when we get a battle. It needs to make sense. Some of these battles ain't making no sense. It's just happening.
Right.
You saw Joey Badass, the whole West Coast, they battling the whole West Coast. And what happened? Joey Badass record didn't do shit. And he canceled the tour for his mental health. So what did it gain him? All these Kendrick fans hate him now. It gained him nothing. Sometimes the battle ain't worth it. Especially right now with K-Dot. His love right now, this nigga on the Love Unlimited right now. This nigga's Barry White right now, okay? His love is unlimited. The Love Unlimited Orchestra. You come at him, you better come correct, and you better not be on some bullshit. So to take up that mantle makes no sense right now. Game is willing because he got nothing to lose.
Facts.
Game got millions of dollars he owes this girl.
Facts.
She owned a goddamn record label. He has to pay her back one way or another. So yes, he needs this engagement. So Kendrick don't need it. All right, man, I'm out of here. Let me know what you think in the comments.
All right, man. No, that was all facts, man. All facts. Yeah, I'm with him. I don't think he needs to. I don't think Kendrick needs to respond to Game. The Game is washed at this point. Let's be real, bro. The Game did he made his mark. And I say this with all due respect, I guess. His time has passed, man. His time has passed. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. But that ain't even necessarily the reason I don't think Kendrick should battle him. I'm going to say battle, not respond. I think there will be a response. Response is warranted. Maybe a few bars. This ain't going to be no battle as Game. Because when you tell somebody, step up and tell him to tell me, like, you want to battle, there's not going to be any of that. Why would there be? And that situation ain't the same as Kendrick and Drake's situation. You feel me? But y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section below, man. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.